Instruction on the difference between saving and submitting data. I'm going to go to the data reporting website. First I go to the Magruder homepage, click on Lab Portal, enter my user login. Takes me to this table of active samples. I'm going to go to the window that is intended for submitting data and entering data. That's through this link, Data Submission and Receipts. And at this window, previous instructional videos, I showed how to enter the data and create the rows with the methods, and each time I enter data, I hit the Save button. The Save button saves anything you've entered, and there will be a yellow bar on top saying Data Saved. The status becomes Last Saved, giving the date that the data was saved. There's also this Submit button, and I want to describe the difference between Save and Submit. Submit is intended as a bookkeeping note for the laboratory to realize and remember that a particular analyte or group of analytes have been submitted for final analysis. They've been reviewed in a review stage, and they are ready for statistical analysis. So if I hit the Submit button, it'll give me a message that my data has been submitted and the status is submitted April 6, 2015. So if I exited this and come back a couple days and I forget whether, I did a final review of it, I have a note that it was submitted. If somebody else comes into it, they'll see that somebody in the lab did a final review and submitted the data for statistical analysis. It's okay if you forget to hit the Submit button. If you just save the data will still be statistically analyzed. This is more intended for you to realize whether you or somebody else in your office has done a final review of the data and submit it for analysis. Once you do a submit, you can still change data and submit it again. Like, let's say you mistakenly hit submit and the result entry was in error. Somebody points that out, or you realize it and you need to change a result. So this was not 6.35, it was actually 6.25. I can enter 6.25, hit submit again, and it will save and submit the correct data for analysis. So you could hit submit as many times as you want for final completion of the data and saying it's ready for analysis until the due date. And the due date on this sample is April 15th. After April 15th, you no longer have this sample as an active sample, and you'll no longer be able to submit or save the data. So that is the difference between submit and save. Submit is intended as a final review process of the data for somebody to hit submit and note that it's ready for statistical analysis. But remember that it is intended primarily for you as a note to let somebody in your lab, or to remind yourself that it has been submitted. If you forget to hit submit, that's okay. The data, as long as it's saved, the data will still be statistically analyzed, and you will still receive lab reports for the results. So that is the instruction on the difference between save and submit.